You know that feeling, right? You've had a week that was just back-to-back meetings, your to-do list was a mile long, but when Friday rolls around, you kind of look back and think, what did we really get done? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into how to break that exact cycle and start moving from just being busy to actually making breakthroughs.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Think about your team right now. Are they just busy, spinning their wheels, churning through tasks and tickets? Or are they creating real, tangible value that your customers actually care about? It's such a critical question, and honestly, the answer is usually a lot murkier than we'd like to admit.
And that confusion, that blur between just being active and creating value, well, that leads us right into what I call the busy work trap. It's this super frustrating place where even the best, most hardworking teams can find themselves stuck, just running in place.
Yeah, there's a name for it, the agile activity trap. You've probably seen the signs. The calendar is a wall of meetings, the team is closing out story points left and right, code is getting shipped, but nothing is really changing. The business metrics aren't budging. It's the complete illusion of progress, where we mistake all that activity for actual impact.
So how does this happen? How do so many smart, talented teams fall for this? Well, it's pretty simple, really. We're measuring the wrong stuff. And that brings us to the big problem with one of Agile's most famous metrics, velocity.
So look at this number, 30. Let's say your team's velocity is 30. That sounds pretty good, right? It's a solid number. You can put it on a chart. You can report it to your boss. It feels solid, concrete. It feels like you're getting things done.
But here's the kicker. That number, 30, it tells you absolutely zero about whether your customers are happy, whether you're making more money, or if the product is even getting better. It's a measure of effort, not value. And this really gets to the heart of it all. Story points, velocity, they're just guesses about effort. They were never designed to measure real-world impact or tell you if you're actually building the right thing. They simply can't do it.
Okay, so if velocity is the wrong tool for the job, what's the right one? How do we actually climb out of this activity trap and start focusing on real value? Well, that's where a more evidence-based approach comes in.
It's a framework called evidence-based management, or EBM for short. And the idea behind it is so powerful because it's so simple. Stop guessing, stop relying on metrics that just make you feel good. Instead, use cold, hard evidence to guide your decisions and find the biggest opportunities out there.
What EBM really does is force you to answer the single most important question you have. You've got limited time, a limited budget, and a brilliant team. So, where do you point them? Where is the absolute best place to invest all that effort to get the biggest bang for your buck?
This really frames the choice perfectly. On one hand, you could keep adding features to a product that's already doing well, where customers are pretty happy. But the danger there is that you actually make it worse, more complicated. On the other hand, you have these big, glaring, unmet needs from your customers. EBM just shines a giant spotlight on that second option and says, hey, the treasure is over here.
So here's the guiding principle, the main takeaway for EBM. You pour your energy and resources into the place where the gap between the value you have now and the value you could have is the absolute widest. That gap. That's where the breakthroughs are hiding.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, so do I have to throw out Agile to do this? And the answer is a resounding no. In fact, EBM doesn't replace Agile at all. It actually unlocks what I think is Agile's true superpower.
You know, for years, the conversation around Agile has been all about speed, about going faster. But that's not its real strength. The true game changer with Agile is responsiveness. It's the ability to sense an opportunity or change in the market and then pivot on a dime to capture it.
And that responsiveness is built on three key things. First, you've got to understand your cycle times, how long it takes to get an idea from your head to a customer's hands. Second, you have to master your feedback loops, so you're actually learning from what you ship. And third, you have to be relentless about finding and fixing the constraints that are slowing that whole learning cycle down.
Okay, so all of this is leading to one final huge shift in how we think. This is the idea that ties everything we've talked about together. It's about moving away from focusing on output and laser focusing on outcomes. This says it all, right? The old way of thinking, the factory model, was all about asking, how much stuff did we make? How many features did we ship? The new way of thinking, the outcome mindset, asks, what value did we create? Did we make our customers' lives better? Did we move the needle on our business goals? And this is the simple loop that gets you there.
It's a total game changer. You start by getting crystal clear on the outcome you're trying to achieve. Then, you constantly look at the evidence, the real data, to see if you're getting any closer. And based on what that evidence tells you, you adapt, you change course. It's basically the scientific method for building great products.
And the payoff for making this shift is just incredible. You stop wasting months building things that nobody actually wants, which slashes your risk. You start building products that people love because they actually solve a real problem. And that gives you a massive competitive edge because you can learn and adapt faster than anyone else.
Let's end on this quote because it just nails it. The whole point of Agile is to get better at delivering business value, not just shipping more stuff. It's about turning your team into a value creation engine, not just a feature factory. So the next time your team celebrates hitting a velocity of 30, it's worth pausing and asking the real question. That's great, but did it matter?